My friends, every great life begins with a simple decision, to take command of oneself. The strongest person is not the one who conquers others, but the one who conquers his own weakness. Self-discipline is not punishment, it is a path to freedom. The undisciplined mind is like a wild horse. It runs toward comfort, distraction, and indulgence. But the disciplined mind walks steadily toward purpose. When you choose to wake up early, to focus, to hold your tongue when anger tempts you, you are practicing quiet strength. You are shaping your destiny in silence, not with applause, but with perseverance. Mastering yourself before seeking to influence the world is the foundation of all true strength. It is easy to point fingers at the world, to blame circumstances, people, or fate for our frustrations, but the truth is that everything begins within. Your mind is the first territory you must govern. Your thoughts are the first citizens you must bring into order. When you learn to rule your inner world, the outer world loses its power to disturb you. The person who controls his emotions, his impulses, and his reactions already holds the most unshakable form of power. Every challenge in life is a mirror reflecting your state of mastery. When someone insults you, do you react with anger or respond with calm understanding? When plans fail, do you surrender to despair or adapt with resilience? These moments reveal who truly governs your life, your wisdom or your weakness. The undisciplined mind rushes to blame others. The disciplined mind pauses, observes, and adjusts. To master yourself is to become the steady hand in the storm, to be unmoved by chaos because your foundation lies deeper than the world's noise. This mastery is not achieved through comfort or convenience. It is forged through daily effort, through conscious awareness of your own thoughts and actions. It requires the courage to look inward and confront your own faults before pointing at the flaws of others. It asks for honesty, to admit where you are ruled by impulse, where pride blinds you, where fear dictates your decisions. Only when you see yourself clearly can you begin to rule yourself wisely. True power is not loud or boastful. It is quiet, steady, and self-contained. The one who has mastered himself no longer depends on praise or approval to feel worthy. He no longer fears loss or change because he has anchored his peace within. He acts with intention, not reaction. He speaks with purpose, not emotion. His calmness is not weakness but a declaration that no external force can control him. To govern your thoughts is to choose what deserves your attention and what does not. To govern your actions is to make decisions aligned with your principles, not with passing desires. To govern your reactions is to stand firm when the world tests your patience, dignity, and resolve. This is not easy work. It is a lifelong practice. But the reward is incomparable. Clarity of mind, strength of character, and the freedom to live on your own terms. Those who seek to change the world without mastering themselves only spread their own confusion. The world becomes better when each person becomes better, when each mind brings order within. The most powerful revolutions are not shouted in the streets but cultivated in silence, within the soul of the individual who has learned to rule his own kingdom, the kingdom of the self. Pain is a teacher, not an enemy. It comes uninvited, yet it carries lessons no comfort could ever provide. Most people run from pain, seeking only ease and pleasure, but comfort rarely shapes strength. Pain reveals who we are when everything familiar is stripped away. It exposes our limits, our fears, and our hidden reserves of courage. When you learn to endure discomfort with purpose, pain becomes a guide rather than a burden. It shows you where growth begins and where weakness ends. Discipline is not born in moments of convenience. It is forged in the silent battles between what is easy and what is right. Every time you choose effort over ease, you strengthen your character. The athlete trains in exhaustion, the scholar studies through fatigue, the leader makes hard choices despite doubt. None of these victories come from comfort. They come from persistence in the presence of pain. Pain tests sincerity. Anyone can be disciplined when the path is smooth, but true discipline is proven when everything in you wants to stop, and yet you continue. Enduring pain with purpose transforms suffering into strength. It teaches patience, endurance, and humility. It teaches that struggle is not an obstacle, but the very ground upon which mastery is built. When you suffer, it is easy to believe that life has turned against you. Yet the reality is that pain refines you. It burns away the unnecessary, the pride, the laziness, the illusions, and leaves behind only what is essential. Like fire purifying metal, pain purifies the mind. It demands focus, resilience, and self-control. Those who understand this do not curse their hardships, they study them. They ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" And in doing so, they grow. Discomfort is the price of progress. Every great act of discipline, every meaningful achievement, has been paid for in moments of strain and sacrifice. The disciplined person learns to see discomfort not as punishment but as preparation. They do not wish for an easier path, but for a stronger spirit. They train their mind to stand firm under pressure, to see every trial as a lesson in endurance. With time, pain loses its power to frighten them, because they recognize it as a natural part of growth. Pain teaches control. It demands that you respond with reason rather than reaction. It teaches gratitude. When hardship passes, you appreciate peace more deeply. It teaches empathy. When you have suffered, you understand the suffering of others. The lessons of pain are never wasted if you are willing to listen. Every scar carries wisdom. Every challenge offers transformation. The one who learns from pain does not become bitter but disciplined, not broken but unshakable. Through pain, you discover the quiet truth that strength is not the absence of suffering, but the ability to walk through it with purpose and dignity. Desire less and act more. This is the path to a peaceful and powerful life. So much of human suffering comes from wanting what lies beyond our control. We chase approval, wealth, and recognition, thinking they will grant us satisfaction, yet the more we desire, the more restless we become. The world is filled with noise, distractions that pull us toward endless craving and comparison. True clarity begins when we quiet the noise and direct our energy toward what we can control: our effort, our attitude, and our consistency. These are the foundations of self-discipline, the elements that no external force can take from us. Desire often disguises itself as ambition, but there is a difference. Ambition guided by discipline moves you forward. Desire without restraint enslaves you. The disciplined person understands that wanting less does not mean lacking purpose. It means being free from dependence on outcomes. You may not control the results of your work, but you can control the quality of your work. You cannot dictate how others treat you, but you can govern how you respond. You cannot command the future, but you can command your present actions. This understanding transforms frustration into focus and anxiety into strength. When you stop chasing every desire, you gain the ability to act with intention. Each decision becomes sharper, more deliberate. You begin to act not out of impulse, but out of principle. The person who desires less is not apathetic, they are precise. They invest their time and energy only where it truly matters. They understand that effort without attachment leads to peace, while desire without discipline leads to chaos. When you focus on your effort, you remain grounded no matter the outcome. When you control your attitude, you protect your peace. When you stay consistent, you build a quiet power that cannot be shaken by circumstance. The world often praises those who achieve much, but rarely honors those who master themselves. Yet mastery of the self is the root of all lasting success. The one who acts with steady purpose, detached from the need for constant reward, is unmovable. They are not swayed by praise or broken by failure. Their satisfaction comes from knowing they have done their part, fully and faithfully. In every moment, they ask not, "What will I gain?" but, "What can I give through my effort right now?" Desire clouds judgment. Discipline clears it. By desiring less, you reclaim your freedom from the endless pull of wanting. You begin to live in the present, where action is possible and peace resides. Each day becomes a chance to do your work, to strengthen your mind, to refine your habits. You learn to trust the process rather than demand the result. Over time, this way of living shapes a life of calm determination, a life guided not by restless wanting, but by purposeful action and quiet strength. Freedom is often mistaken for the ability to do whatever one pleases, yet real freedom is the power to master oneself. The one who cannot command his impulses, emotions, and habits is not free, he is ruled by them. The pursuit of instant gratification, of constant comfort and indulgence, may appear to be freedom, but it is in truth a form of quiet enslavement. When you are driven by every desire, every mood, every temptation, you become a prisoner of your own mind. True liberty begins not in the absence of restraint, but in the strength to practice it. Restraint is not suppression, it is the art of ruling oneself with wisdom. To control your impulses is to act with choice rather than reaction. The world is full of provocations: anger, envy, greed, and fear constantly invite you to lose control. But when you pause, when you breathe before you act, you reclaim your power. That moment of restraint separates strength from weakness, freedom from slavery. The disciplined person does not let fleeting emotions dictate their course. They navigate through them with composure. They understand that feelings are temporary, but actions have lasting consequences. Each act of restraint is an act of liberation. It frees you from the control of momentary desires and aligns you with long-term purpose. To govern your emotions is not to become cold or detached, but to remain balanced when life tests you. The unrestrained mind swings wildly between joy and despair, pride and shame, pleasure and pain. But the restrained mind stands steady, like a mountain unmoved by wind or storm. This balance does not come easily. It is cultivated through daily awareness. You learn to watch your anger rise and let it pass without surrendering to it. You feel temptation and let it fade without chasing it. You experience disappointment yet continue with dignity. Every time you choose restraint over reaction, you strengthen your inner authority. Habits, too, reveal the truth of freedom. A person ruled by unhealthy routines, of laziness, distraction, or excess, lives under the illusion of choice, yet their life is dictated by habits' invisible chains. Discipline breaks those chains. Through consistent restraint, new habits are built, habits of focus, patience, and purpose. The small acts of control you practice each day accumulate into a life of true independence. You no longer need the world to behave as you wish. You only need to master your own behavior. Freedom through restraint is the highest form of self-possession. It is the ability to choose the harder right over the easier wrong, to silence the noise of desire and hear the quiet voice of reason. The person who controls himself cannot be manipulated by pleasure or fear. He walks through life calm and unhurried, untouched by chaos, because he has learned the rarest art, to be his own master.